warming night. We're waiting for Commissioner Hill to come. So we're going to let her step in. She's got some remarks to make as soon as she gets here. I'm sure the weather has helped out. But I wanted to we're here tonight so that we can tell you more.
I'd like to thank all those from the Florida Real Estate Foundation, Orlando Regional Realtor Association, and the many, many partners for stepping up to the plate and saying protecting the American way of life is their duty, making homeownership possible for them is ours. And it's particularly significant to me because in working in redevelopment in our city, so often it's the government that takes the lead on these projects. And it's just very heartening that the lead on this is coming from the other direction. And all of the for-profit and non-profit entities that are stepping forward to make this project a reality. But I'm also proud that the City of Orlando, and that includes our mayor and commissioners, who approved this project, will assist in providing the land to eligible veterans and their families to live here. Most of the funding for the land was purchased by the city using HUD Neighborhood Stabilization Program funds that were awarded to the city to revitalize neighborhoods damaged by foreclosure and abandoned properties. Those funds require the city to find new uses for the land, so excellent projects like this one fit perfectly. We're planting a small seed here today to enhance the Fairmont neighborhood. My hope is that the urge to take action and make Orlando a place where people can find decent and affordable housing continues for years to come. We're well on our way, and the city is glad to help with this first step. I thank you very much.
Before I move on, I was remiss in not introducing the members of the Florida Real Estate Foundation board that are here tonight. Bob Caldwell, Allie Braswell, Leila Allen, Elizabeth Kingston, Nancy Soderstrom, Steve Merchant, and Steve Chicklett. Would you guys please stand? These folks have been instrumental in getting this project moving forward. We've been working behind the scene for about 18 months, so I just want to thank them for all their time and their effort that they put toward this project. We have a presentation for you. Are we doing the video, Frankie?
No.
PowerPoint? Okay. Viewers, want me to read, or how do you want?
Just for information.
Okay, I'm just not that video, sorry. The Heroes Commons project at Jefferson Park. We're going to explain to you about the Florida Real Estate Foundation. The Florida Real Estate Foundation was created in 2005. The primary purpose was to provide a charitable, not-for-profit organization with the Orlando Regional Realtor Association's community activities. The cornerstone mission of the foundation is an affordable and workforce housing program called Art and Architecture. The art and architecture concept focuses on an infill development. Our program provides attractive, well-designed, affordable housing options while also preserving the historical traditions of the neighborhoods in which we build. Art and Architecture Phase 1 was a Holden Heights project not too far from here. It was completed in 2004. There were 4 single-family homes, and they sold for no more than $124,000. I want you to think historically it just went on in 2004. The real estate market was really beginning to cook off, and affordable housing was hard to find in Orlando, especially in these infill areas. Our second project, Phase 2, was the Hannibal Square Community Land Trust located in the city of Winter Park, and that was completed in 2006. We did 10 single-family homes there, and the sales price again was $126,000 each. We're now partnering with the city of Orlando to build 6 single-family detached ADA compliant homes that are built just behind us over here on Jefferson and Benson. The homes are going to be donated to injured veterans. The site plan includes shared garage access, green space, and connectivity that create a commons area. The goal is to create a supportive, friendly, and convenient environment for homeowners and the neighborhood. We also have renderings here of the floor plans and the elevation of the homes, the layout of the property. We've worked hard as a foundation on the qualifications. Any disabled veteran or veteran whose discharge status qualifies for VA benefits will be qualified to purchase the homes. The owners must meet the income qualifications for the city of Orlando. The two homes' income is at or below 80% of Orlando's MSA median income. 4 homes' income is at or below 120% of Orlando's MSA median income. The application is being submitted through HANDS, and we're going to have Jill come up from HANDS and explain to you more about the application process. Owners must complete a homeowner class of 8 hours and a financial literacy class of 2 hours. Owners must be primary residents during the city's 15-year affordability period. Additional mortgage details will be explained during the application process. The following selection criteria has been established to guide the selection process. Discharge status must be eligible for VA benefits. They must have some disability, and you know the disability can vary between, on a percentage basis. A housing need, and we're going to know about their current living status. They'll have to qualify on their household income and the ability to maintain the home and home ownership. In other words, if they're liable for property taxes and insurance, they're going to have to meet those requirements. We also want them to be aware that there are items that any homeowner is going to have to do to maintain their property. You're going to have a rainy day fund for like when the roof goes out or you've got a plumbing leak. We want these to be responsible homeowners that understand that there's a responsibility with home ownership. The Florida Real Estate Foundation has developed an aggressive fundraising plan to raise sufficient funds to build the homes and develop the site for donation to the 6 veterans. We hope to begin construction in November of this year. Our partners are the Florida Orlando Regional Realtor Association, of course the Foundation, the AIA of Orlando, the City of Orlando, HANDS, and the Greater Orlando Builders Association. They just changed their names. Our supporting partners are the Fair Housing Continuum, the Florida Realtors, the National Association of Realtors, Colbert Banger Cares Foundation, Real Estate Closing Solutions, Alliant National Title Insurance Company, the American Legion, the Central Florida Urban League, Southern Title Holding Company, SunTrust, and Globe Home Warranty. And we want to give a special thanks to David Van Loon, Maximento Brito, Chris Steger, Edmund Neighbor, John Eric, and Carl Shea. And these are the architects that donated these fabulous plans that you see tonight. Okay, thank you. Now, do you want Jill to speak before we do questions?
Commissioner Hill's here.
Oh, Regina.
Yes.
Oh, hey, how are you? Come on up. I'm not really asking. But we had you, as you had a few honest, what you want to say to me?
First, I'd like to say good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And thank you and the realtors for the vision that you have for our veterans and our law enforcement to help revitalize our territory more. Grew up here in this area and looking forward to the restoration and revitalization that's going on in the rest of the preparing. So I know you help create those visionaries. Also, I'm a veteran. I'm a Navy vet. I'm a disabled veteran. And our men and women that are coming back from Iraq and Jefferson that have served our country diligently and loyally to help come to this community where we have children and other stakeholders that need to see that positive enforcement, need to see people that have served the country and it's going to be their neighbors. The youth in the community now can dream to aspire to be greater than some of the bleakness here in this community. So I think this is a great, great, great venture, a great opportunity for my dear neighborhood. As I said, I grew up here. I'm so supportive of this, because one thing that we need is housing here. And I think this is the beginning of great things to come in our infields and our empty lots this year. And I'm just excited that we're going to take care of our country's finest. So thank you, Ms. Neal, for coming out to share your experience.
I think we'll hold all the questions after Jill gives her presentation, because she's going to answer a lot of questions about qualifications for the bed. So Jill, if you'd like to come up.
This is a challenge because I've had my knees replaced in the last 3 months, so that's really good that I can do this. Well, I'm so excited to do another art and architecture project. We've been involved. Kansas Central Florida is a nonprofit agency where we gather the applicants and we review the applicants for the review team. We've worked with the city for many, many years. Frankie and Steve and all the great people at the Foundation for the Realtors Association brought Hands Long as like a grassroots nonprofit so that the clients have somewhere to feel comfortable, give us their information, let us compile it and bring it to the committee for voting purposes on who receives a home. On our website, which is handsorlando.org, if you pull down just a little bit, you're going to see a big red, white, and blue area which has the veterans application in it. On the back of this, we have about 50 of these tonight, are the income guidelines. If you read down and across, it tells you the 80% qualifications for the 2 homes and the 120% of income qualifications for the other 4. So to give you an idea, a family of 1 low income can earn no more than $32,100. For 120% of the median income, a family of 1 can earn no more than $48,240. So those are really higher than you would probably expect as far as low and moderate income. What we want to encourage is everyone to apply. Let the counselors worry about income and what's included in income, and apply please on the application. There's a lot of things on here you may not expect, like your need, where you live now, your discharge qualifications, your disability, what you might need in the home itself as far as design and accessibility. So great and long, we try to concise it, but we want to make sure we know all about you. So tell your friends, tell people on the street. I told Frankie, right there. On my way home, I run into 2 people that are always begging on 2 different corners who are disabled vets. I asked if maybe we could have a card that I could hand out the window and say, please, here's your application. So please talk it up. We'd love to give this to the neediest of those who are looking for housing. The process will go that applications come into hands. We will review them and assign them to one of our housing counselors. Amanda, raise your hand. Amanda Huff is one of our 2 counselors who are veteran benefits certified, so she understands their income and how to calculate their backup supportive documentation that they'll need to bring. We also have Spanish-speaking counselors. So don't let that be a concern for your clients, and we will explain to them all the guidelines as well in Spanish. We will put them in a home buyer seminar for the city guidelines so that they understand that. That's also in Spanish or English, whichever they need. And then we're going to sit with them one-on-one, and we're going to do financial literacy with them as a class. But as we give out information, it's not the same as sitting with them and understanding how Jill spends her money. what Jill earns as far as income and how we can make sure that they can afford to maintain the home. So right now we have several applicants. The process has been open maybe 2.5 months on our website. So please encourage people to apply. We have one larger family, a couple singles. We have a very low of mod and a couple of more towards 120%. We don't have anybody over income at this point. So please encourage everybody to apply so that the committee can look at the most deserving patients over here. Oh, yes, and I have tons here. So anything you might need of hands, we're Housing and Neighborhood Development Services is our name. We don't say it because it's too long to say it. We also do mortgage default counseling, and so if there's any type of housing need, please send, even if the veteran already owns a home and they need some assistance, please they can come to us. Well, thank you. We're so excited. Thank you.
There are more of these here to allow if anybody needs an extra hand. Finally, I want to get a veteran's viewpoint, so I'd like to introduce Ali Braswell, who's mentioned earlier, serves on our board. He's going to tell us his impression of this project from a veteran's viewpoint.
Good evening. I know y'all must be asleep, so let's try that again. I'm old jarhead and army, so I got bipolar going on up here. I need y'all to wake me up. Good evening. Good evening. This is exciting because we have so many veterans that if you think about the urban situation for veterans, a lot of us left the urban centers for a better opportunity. But when we go off and we become injured, when we come back home, you got to have a support system that supports all of us. And one of the great things about Heroes Commons is it is about inclusivity and making sure that we have homes that veterans from an urban setting can return to. I applaud all of the efforts that are going on in the rural area. I mean, it's been incredible that veterans come home and get a mortgage-free and a leg up or an arm up on being able to get back into their community and be a part. I'm a Gulf War veteran. I served in Iraq. I am also a disabled veteran. Now, a lot of people might say that's mentally, but but speaking seriously, we have a lot of vets returning home that don't look like they're disabled. We have a lot of vets dealing with PTSD, dealing with traumatic brain injury, that you can't look at them and just tell that they're a disabled vet. But we've got to have homes that these young men and women can come home to. And it's not just about the guy. It's about the young ladies coming home too. We have more single moms and single dads that we get to talk about and we get to see coming home and needing that leg up. So when this project was brought to me by a gentleman by the name of Wallace Shabakati, who serves as a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, he says, Alan, we need to do something inside the city limits. And it started with a thought, and I brought it before this crazy board who just thinks about out of the box. And they said, you know what, we're going to make it happen. With our chair, veterans, to every member, not a member of the Florida Real Estate Foundation, said this was a bad idea. The great thing about it is there are veterans. How many people here are veterans right now? I thank you for your service. How many Marines? Thank you. See, when I came home in 1991 from the Gulf War, they had parades, but there were Vietnam vets who came home and there were no parades and ceremonies and celebrations. So one of the things when we said, let's do this, we wanted to open it up to every veteran of every category who could qualify. Then Frankie, and if you don't know Frankie Elliott, spent 10 minutes with her. She never stops thinking about what's next. She says, well, Alan, let's also have some first responders be able to be there just in case a vet needed some help or needed some medical assistance. So the concept of Heroes Commons starts at Jefferson Park, but it doesn't end there. Because see, one of the things about Heroes Commons is Heroes Commons can be in Holden Heights. Heroes Commons can be over in Washington Shores. Heroes Commons can be in Azalea Park. This is just the beginning, and with the partnership of the city, of the mayor, of our commissioner, Commissioner Hill, Thank you so much. Because you and I talked about this when this was just a thought during your campaign. It means a lot to me, being a kid from Central Florida, that Paramore be a part of what we're doing. And normally it's the city having to take the effort, but this time, private foundation came and said, let's go get you something special, let's partner with the city, let's do something in the community that needs revitalization. You know, everyone wants to give Paramore a bad name, and you want to talk about the crime. But I'm telling you, you start to get people to home, but they feel special about where they live, and special about what they do, there's a sense of pride that every single military veteran walks around with. See, we're not afraid of Paramore. I mean, when you've been shot at, when you've been spit upon, when you've been blown to bits, coming home to Paramore is pretty good. When you can come home to an environment where people are just trying to make it, a bit at a time, a piece at a time. They're looking for jobs. As these buildings are being built, there's an opportunity to be a part of the build-out of this. As you're looking for an opportunity for veterans to be a part of this. See, I told you, every veteran can probably wield a hammer, except myself and my twin who's walking around with the sling on I'm supposed to be wearing. Very good. Okay. But we can wield a hammer, but we can also hammer back a community. We can also revitalize, begin a revitalization in Paramore with 6 houses. It is not over, and for those of you who may not see the vision, it's real. When you've got developers and architects coming up and giving of their time, it's real. It's real that we can have 6 veterans' homes in here where we have veterans' families making a difference. I'll close by saying this. I served on Secretary Shinseiki's advisory committee on minority vets. And the #1 challenge that he wanted to eradicate during his tenure was veterans' homelessness. Providing a place where vets could come in, get access to resources, being able to travel to and from the VA Medical Center. See, it's great that this is on links, on the limo. Because I can get on the limo for free, get to a bus, the out the Sunrail, and get to a VA clinic. And that, for a veteran who is limited in his ability to move, that means everything. So from a veteran's perspective, a lot of people that look like me left the inner city to go off into the military, do something great and incredible, gain skills and move ahead, be able to come back and make a difference. So as a part of the Florida Real Estate Foundation, I serve with an incredible, august body of people who are just sold out to making this thing happen. They're sold out to making the vision from Kyle, who has become our poster child, probably reluctantly. You know, but Kyle is a veteran that suffers from a disability, suffers from injuries. But let me tell you something about Kyle. On a day when he was told some very traumatic news about his dad, on a day he's supposed to have another back surgery due to his injuries sustained while in our United States military, he did not see it as robbery to come in before flying home to see about his dad, to come in and speak to veterans. I stand before you just freshly out of surgery. I'm supposed to be wearing that sling thing. I'm a hard-headed jarhead, so I don't, you know, we're some staplers back out and keep rolling. But it's for veterans like Kyle. It's for veterans like Colonel Connors. It's for veterans like Commissioner Hill. It's for the vets that you will never see so that they have a place to have a home. It's for the families that will keep together, that will have single moms living with their kids, single dads being able to take care of their kids. It's for the vets that we see each and every day walking around here that right now, most of the veterans that are homeless are from communities like Paramore. So with the Florida Real Estate Foundation being able to step up, I hope I touch your heart, because being able to step up and start a revitalization in Paramore is the beginning of starting revitalization throughout the rest of our infield development. I applaud the mayor, the commissioners, but most of all, I applaud all of you for coming out in the rain to hear about this, because it's just that important. It's that important that a veteran come home to a clean, energy efficient, safe, and affordable house. And you can't get more affordable than free. So when we also ask you to go to the website, you know, $5 goes a long way to elect the president. $5 can help us pay for these houses, because we want to turn them over to these veterans mortgage free. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to share my breakfast.
seen in the media about my story of having troubles and run-ins with the law. But the real story is, I was a Navy veteran, came home disabled, grew up here in Paramour. And when I came home from the service, injured in my A school, had to get therapy for almost 8 months. But I came home injured with not a real skill because I wasn't able to complete my A school. And I came back right here on Oak Street, matter of fact, to live on my mother's sofa. On my mother's sofa without anywhere to really call home. Without any skills, no jobs, no programs that this particular project had in place. As you said, not that helping hand as returning home to my urban environment. So what was around me was despair and gloom, and people that was making some poor decisions. And because I wasn't self-sufficient, because I didn't have the skills, and a lot of times as veterans, at that time, I felt like a failure. Felt like because I was disabled and came home and couldn't complete, I was mentally incomplete. So I gravitated towards the wrong things because I didn't have the structure and I didn't have the real support. So not only are we supplying homes with this, we are giving people hope that are returning home that will not make the wrong decisions and choices such as I did, that don't have to scramble and try to get themselves back up because they're coming home to a home of their own. They're coming home to people with programs. They're coming home to the support system. So I do believe it, and maybe stand back to that, in the back of that room, saying, when I came back home to Paramour, I had those things in place. Maybe I wouldn't have to go down the road that I had to go down. So I applaud the vision and the dreams and the hopes of my community. So someone that's gone off and have to come back to Washington Shores, to Holden Heights, that these things are going to be in place. So I just want to share that because it's so important that when our soldiers come home, that these type of projects are in place and these programs are in place so that no one have to go through some of the things that other soldiers go through. And I'm not the only one. Throughout America, we have a lot of veterans that have to make poor decisions because there's no support or housing in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've already gotten a lot of information tonight, and I'm here with my team to answer any questions you may have about this great project. So I'll open the floor to questions. Yes.
Hi, I'm Rashida Hall. I'm with Help CDC. We're a faith-based nonprofit counseling agency, so I immediately gravitated to the homework qualifications, and this is actually a sister agency of ours. So I'm wondering, for the clients that we have that may qualify, that have already gone through our home buying workshop and received the financial counseling, is that sufficient being a HUD agency, or they would have to go through a separate education piece?
Well, I believe the way we have it set up now, Frankie, they're going to go through the Urban League. Is that
for the financial literacy? Two separate requirements for training. And Jill, actually Linda Ryan-Smith, who's behind Jill over here, is the project manager for the city. The requirement under the HUD program is it has to be a city-approved program. So if it's, Linda would be the one to talk to, Linda and Jill would be the one to talk to. We certainly are not trying to be restricted, it's just that we have certain requirements.
And then as far as the enrollment period, construction starts in the fall, but when does the application enrollment period?
Well, I don't think we have an end date on our application period. All of this just got up and running publicly about 2 months ago, like Jill said. So you can go to our website, the application is there, Florida Real Estate Foundation, and they can get an application there. And then Jill's contact information is also there. Yes, ma'am.
The one word, the key word, as the gentleman said as he was speaking, when he said a safe place to live. And like Hill, I grew up and I still live on Polk Street. That's very close to where the homes are going to be. My uncle, my dad, and my brother are all veterans. I think your project is fine. I don't know how much time, if any, you spent going through the neighborhood, but the neighborhood needs to be improved to attract people to the neighborhood.
Yes.
There are issues in the neighborhood that need to be addressed, and it's not going to be addressed by building 6 homes and putting people there. Those things need to be addressed first. We've had murders in the neighborhood, stolen cars. The other night, a car comes into my yard, goes through my fence, goes through the next one. The murder on Washington, the drug dealing. If someone is going to get a home, then it should be a home where they can feel safe. Because those of us that have always been there and are still there, we don't necessarily have that. I think that needs to be looked at first.
Beverly, I've addressed this to you. I've addressed it to Commissioner Hill. I've addressed it to the officers here. I've addressed it to several other people. I happen to be a veteran. Commissioner Hill didn't talk about Vietnam, but at least our guys coming back now are getting recognized the way they should. I came back being spit upon and having eggs thrown at me when I came in the airport. My concern about this whole project, and I'm glad that everybody is involved, but my serious concern is that whoever gets these homes, they suffered. They are handicapped or disabled or whatever you want to call them, and I don't want to see them have to be concerned about their safety for the rest of their life. And I agree with what that lady said over there. We need to have top of mind with this whole foundation, our officer corps, whoever's involved in this program, to be and keep that top of mind. I'm a lucky guy. I gave up my crew in Vietnam. My co-pilot took over. I left in March. He was dead in April, and my navigator was due to retire in June. They weren't lucky. These people are going to be lucky, but we got to protect them.
I want to make a comment on that. The key thing is taking back our neighborhood. If we sit back and look at what folks who do not care about the neighborhood are doing and sit there and say, you know what, no, we won't rebuild, we won't revitalize, because you know what, they are doing things that are not right in Paramore. Paramore is going down. I've walked the streets of Paramore. I've helped, in some cases, rent units where people have damaged the units, fix the units back and put it with people in homes that now they can afford because the transportation is easier and it's been safer. But should we sit back and say no? We are taking a bold step before the Real Estate Foundation and saying, you know what, let's rebuild, let's do a collaborative effort, and let's take back our community. Why should we stand back and let them take the community? You know why? Because they don't own it, they don't have ownership, and they don't care. But I submit to you that if we have veterans that have ownership in that community, and we give them the support that they require, what's going to happen is it will spill over. Because now we have an example of a viable community that now it should affect the change. We are going to be the change agent. They're not going to change us. We will change it. But if we sit back, now we can say, because we have a viable community, we can go back to the commissioners, we can go back to the police officers and say, okay, we need more. Because you know what? Now we have people that are actually taxpayers that can now say, you know what? We need more supervision in this area. We need change. But if we sit back and say, you know what? Let's just not do anything. That's the easiest thing, to not do anything. It's easy to break down. It's the hardest thing to build up. And we're going to stand strong. As one of the trustees of that foundation, we're taking a bold step. But we believe it can be done. We believe if they fought for our country, we can fight for them.
We are about ready to spend as a city $180,000 on a brick fence. Now, Regina, you know what I'm talking about. It's $180,000 on a fence you can be putting into cameras that will keep these people safe. Crime runs from cameras. We have all the proof in the world on it. The city tells everybody every time you go to the city council, we don't have any money. They're spending $1 billion on Church Street. Over $1 billion on Church Street. You don't have $180,000 for cameras? You don't have $300,000 for Glendy Hamilton's 30 cameras? You're going to end up with dead veterans. Ask the police officers. They do it every day. How many people are we going to watch get killed, maimed, destroyed on the city streets for want of a few $100,000 in cameras? Monitored cameras. When are we going to do what's right? Instead of building a brick wall to nowhere.
That hasn't been approved, so that's not something that is.
There's $180,000 allocated. I have listened, Regina. I understand.
I'm on your team, but we can't say that because that has to go before council. It's just a plan.
Will you vote for it or against it?
It's not been approved. No, it has not been.
Will you vote for it or against it? Will you vote to take the $180,000?
Sir, I'm doing more research on everything that's coming before me, Phil, but that has not been approved. That is out there, just like many plans, but we know that's not.
$180,000 will go a long way putting cameras. You put one right there on the street corner where these houses are going to go in, which is going to help protect the vets. Actually, it's going to require probably 2. But, you know, if we don't do that, what are we doing? We're neglecting the vets. We're turning them loose. What are you going to do? You're going to have vets out there. You're saying that you're going to have disabled vets. Some of them are going to be physically disabled. They're going to be running around in wheelchairs. You know the neighborhood. They haven't got a chance. They haven't got a chance.
I'd like to say something, please.
Yes. Well, may I say something first? As chairman of the foundation, I understand that there's this, we've always known from the get-go that this was a concern about safety in this area. We have been working very closely with the city of Orlando. They're aware of our concerns. We understand the whole redevelopment that's going on in Paramore. That's our focus, is the end game of it. So I just want you to know, I don't have all the answers on safety. We're going to have to look to the city and the commissioners to provide that for us. But we will do our part, what we can do to work together to help and look at those issues. Yes, sir.
My name is Jerry Klein. I've lived here in Atlanta for 60 years. And I've seen the deterioration of Paramore. What I'm concerned about is this. The 2 things. What is the city telling you that they're going to do about safety for this area? And the second thing is, how much money is being spent on these 6 areas, these 6 homes, that could possibly be given as chips to the veterans? They can go out and buy homes. I have a tremendous kinship for this man who stood up here. My brother was in the 1st Marine Division in Korea. My other brother was in the 3rd Marine Division in Guatemala. So I understand veterans. What I'm saying to you is this. You need to listen to that lady there. You need to listen to that man there. You need to listen to what this man wants to see happen. But you're not going to have, if you're in Disneyland, if you think that we're building 6 nice homes for the veterans, and I know you're doing it from the kindness of your heart, and you're doing it because that's your vision. But your vision is going to be dampened if you don't give them safety. Ask that policeman, that's an officer out there. What do you need to make this area safe?
Well, that's where we, as a foundation, will be looking to the city of Orlando for guidance on that.
Well, you know who he's talking about with Lindy Hamill?
No.
Lindy Hamill is a black pastor here in Paramore. I'm sure many people in this room know what this good he's doing in this community. He has gone before the city commission numerous times and asked for additional cameras to be put up in Paramore. There is documented proof that they're properly monitored,
that they can make a change, make
Yes.
a difference.
I have heard about that.
Please, and that $180,000 for that brick wall, when we're looking at a potential $35 million deficit in the city of Orlando, put the money to good use. Let's give the veterans a safe place to live. I'm in full support of any program that will help the veterans out. But let's not make it a boondoggle.
I appreciate the input, and I'm so glad you.
Well, promise yourself that you won't walk out of the room after you meet with the city staff and not be perfectly satisfied that they're taking care of the safety of these men and women. If you walk out and you don't have an answer, I'm afraid you're going to end up with a major mistake.
Thank you. Would you like to address?
Sure.
Here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Deputy Chief Charles Robinson, Orlando Police Department. I'm a native of Orlando and born and raised here all my life. So I have a vested interest in not only Paramore, but all of Orlando. This is my home. Now, I'm approaching my 27th year on the agency, and many of those years were spent here in Paramore. Matter of fact, we've been running Polk and Benson, Jefferson, Paramore, and so forth. So I am very familiar with the issues that Paramore has had, as have many of you who have lived in this area. Now, I'm not here to get into the politics of some of the different issues that you're bringing out, but my job is in public safety. And that's what I've been doing for the past 27 years. Many of you have mentioned about cameras, and I'm going to have Officer Williams come up here shortly, and we want to talk about some of those cameras. But one of the reasons that I'm here as an investigative search and drill commander, I have a responsibility for the iris cameras for the entire city. Within this city, we have a iris camera system that's set up, and we have more cameras within the Paramore area than we do in any other area of the city. Now, those cameras, and this is going to answer some of the questions you have, those cameras were bought with UASC funding, federal funding. And some of those cameras, because of that, there are stipulations of where we can put them. And when we select locations that are on our major thoroughfares, major streets, that are going to get us the best opportunity to see as much as we can with it. Also with that is some of those stipulations involve dealing with different infrastructure, critical infrastructure, such as the Citrus Bowl, such as the Amway Center, such as the new soccer center when it comes in, such as Floridian Law School. All those different things, because we are in the business of protection, and when we get those funding because of that. So what I'm saying to you is we're putting forth every effort that we can to reduce crime and maintain livable neighborhoods within the city. During my 27 years here in Paramore, I can tell you that crime is down now more than it has ever been. Okay? Yes, some of the progress has been slow, but this is not new. But I'm here to tell you, as an agency, we have many programs that we can work together, just like the collaboration of all the folks that have worked together here to bring this plan to fruition. We have programs where if we got the community, and as the young lady said, if we got the community to work together, then as a community, we can provide protection for these veterans who come in here. Now we have Neighborhood Watch, we have our crime prevention division that Kevin is a part of, and he'll talk about that. But we also have to have folks who want to get involved. Now, over my 27 years, I've had numerous opportunities to come in here, hold community meetings, hold neighborhood meetings, whether it's here, the Jefferson, or wherever. And I have 5 officers with me, and I have 1 resident. I have 2 residents. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But if we as a community coalesce and get together, we can provide that safe area that we're talking about and utilize the cameras that we have in place. And yeah, if we get additional funding and so forth, we will continue to increase our different cameras, but understand that our focus is on public safety for all of Orlando, as we also have to address the revitalization that is going on in Fairmont. So that's kind of where we are. Kevin, if you want to come up and I'll be available for additional questions.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
I'm great.
Like I said, my name is Kevin Williams. I work for the crime prevention section of the Orlando Police Department, and I'm also the liaison officer to District 5 Commissioner. And one of the biggest things that we do, and Chief has touched on it, is we talk crime prevention. Listen, we have almost 700 officers. I can't tell you how many corners we have in the city of Orlando, or just in downtown, but we can't be everywhere. What we try to do is reach out to the public as much as possible. Yes, we feel your pain, because the officers, we are human. We're out here in the street making arrests. 2 weeks later, same groups come back out. But we need your help. Like you said, I cannot tell you, over the last 4 years, I had the privilege of serving this position. How many meetings we've gone to, and there's 2 or 3 people that show up. Now, we're not going to quit, because that's not an option. But we need your help. Every day, I look in the event logs, and businesses that get burglarized, and I've gone to the businesses, and try to establish, we have basically a neighborhood watch for businesses. And a lot of times, I understand, and that's part of my job. I sit there and listen to the complaints and the aggravation. And then when I'm trying to get the individual to say, let's, you 4 businesses, perhaps on Haynes Street, are having that problem with prostitution, and we can get together, but nobody wants to come together with us. We need your help. But we're going to keep going. Like I said, we're not going to quit. But we do need a community part. And I'll give you a good example. Arlington and Livingston, about a couple months ago, sent an email saying they had some problems. They told us where the problems were, and they were adamant about it. Went out there, had a meeting, had a neighborhood meeting just for those 2 streets. Over those last two months, OPD's cleaned house. But it wasn't because of us, it was because of them telling us where the problems were, when they're coming in, who's doing what. Because those are homeowners there. Just like there's going to be homeowners in those homes right there. And they care about their communities. All they needed was a little bit of help, and maybe that avenue. But now we did it with 2 streets, and it's a continual battle. Because 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying how wonderful OPD was, and then I got an email last week saying, hey, we got some problems over here. But that's all right, because we're going to be back. But now if we can take that 2 streets to 3 streets and 4 streets, that's how we can get Paramore to where everyone wants it. We talked about the cameras. Like Chief said, we got 55 cameras in the Paramore area, more than anywhere in the city of Orlando. And through the Commissioner's office over the last couple of years, I've been a heavy advocate of trying to get cameras just about on every corner. But just like everything else, there is a financial strain. We got grant writers at OPD are trying to get those grants and get more cameras put up. Some neighborhoods are taking it upon themselves. I know not every neighborhood can afford to do that and purchase their own cameras. But a camera is not going to actually stop crime. It's got to be the community. Cameras are a great investigative tool, but it's the community.
Cameras are going to help.
Yeah, cameras will help.
I'll tell you how to get your money for this camera.
Yes, sir.
We got 40 people in this room right now. Ask everybody to raise their hand. I'd like to see the $180,000 going to be put up the wall, and they can put some money in the camera. Everybody wants to see the $180,000 go to the wall of the camera.
Sir,
paid for that Church Street project that came down from the federal government only for that. I really wish that me out of my office as the commissioner could allocate that for that.
Well, I heard you were going to put 75,000 of your money.
No, sir, I have not. I have not. No, I didn't put anything in right now. And you believe everything you do, maybe. But what I'm trying to say, sir, is this. Nothing has been approved, but out of that 180,000 that you're talking about, that can only be allocated for Church Streetscape. Now, the $75,000 that you're talking about out of discretionary funds, out of District 5's account, that hasn't been approved. So, you know, to say that is unfair. That wall hasn't been approved. But those monies can only go to that streetscape. That's the only thing it was allocated for. So I just want to make that clear before we start making assumptions, so everybody will know there's only a portion of that money that can only be used for that infrastructure of Church Street. The $75,000 is true. It hasn't been approved.
I didn't say that. Doesn't it bother you? They're going to spend $180,000 for a wall, but they won't put up the full knowledge that cameras in the other part of the fair will help out.
Sir, that plan was drawn 7 years ago.
20 years ago.
Well, I'm just trying to bring information to you, not be in attack, and then we'll move. You know, what I think should be done, just like you're here, you should have a voice and you should speak out. That's whenever it goes to the board, it's not even on the agenda. Whenever it does, you come and make that known. But right now, we're here with this project. I think it's a great project. And the obvious cameras, sure, as the chief stated, as Officer Williams stated, there's grant writing. And I can pledge you, I will be speaking with some of my grant writers to see what we can do to push that forward. I will commit to that. But right now, I think we're getting a little distracted, talking about a wall that even isn't in existence, not coming before the board, not on the agenda, and we need to concentrate on the good of the community. And the officers have pledged, and I know, and I grew up here in Paramore, just like Ian, and crime has been down. Crime is down. You look in the county, you look over in other sides of town, you're safer in Paramore than you are anywhere. Sure, we have crime here, but you're safe in Paramore. So we need to stop making it as Paramore is bad. That's the myth. Paramore is even safer than downtown.
Is it because of the cameras and the
Because our officers are doing a good job controlling. Like me and Officer Williams, when I first got in the office, there was so much prostitution and drug dealing going over on Amelia and Westmoreland. The homeowners are calling us, they start working with us. We even went to several homeowners and sat in their front room. And what they did was this. They started giving us names, times, activity. They start working with law enforcement. And now the last month, as he stated, crime is down. They say people walk around like zombies needing a fix because the officers are doing what they're supposed to. And I drive throughout the community. I do that often. I don't just go to snow, but I drive to see what's going on in my community. So when I hear the voices of the people, I already know, and I can almost identify what they're talking about. And I was just driving over on Westmoreland for the last 2 days. I have a girlfriend in Stanford, a best friend. And on every street I saw the police officers doing their jobs, 2 or 3 cars at a time, letting them know we're not going to tolerate this. And the homeowners sending us emails. Even if you're afraid to speak out, you can send emails out. You can pick up the telephone, but you are our eyes and our ears. And then guess what? When our veterans come, there are more eyes and ears than boots on the ground. We shouldn't stop building and create revitalizing our neighborhood because we have a few distractors, a few criminals. Guess what? The more of us that are good citizens and productive citizens and taxpayers move in, the more we're going to move them out. Because now we're going to be the majority and they're going to be the minority. So I said, let's move forward with this. Let's move forward with it. And I pledge, as your District 5 City Commissioner, that I will try to do my part to help out and assist. I will speak with those at City Hall and see what we can do to make it safer. I will try to see what type of grants are available. And I know the OPD, they're trying their hardest with their grant writers. This is, I spoke personally with Chief Neal.
Okay, did I say something real quick?
Yes.
My name's Kyle Evans. You guys might not know me. And I'm not a minority, and I'm not from Paramore, but I'm down here every single day. How often do you come down here?
About 3 times.
About 3 times a week. I'm down here every single day helping homeless veterans get back to work, get out of jail, get out of rehab, get in rehab, and get going. It takes a community effort. It's not a camera. It's not a camera. A camera is great, but it takes everybody. It takes an entire community. And I guarantee you one thing, you try to come break into these veterans' houses when they get there. You know what I mean? Or anybody. You know, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying the cameras. But I want everybody needs to have a solid understanding that the community needs to come together. Whether you live here, whether you live in Lake Nona, whether you live in Windermere, wherever it is, you got to support each other. And we got to support these veterans that are going to be moving in these houses. It's that simple.
That's why I came here.
I understand that, but we're getting way off topic. We're getting way off topic. I understand your brother and your uncle, that's great. Thank them for their service. I'm grateful. But I have brothers who are coming home today who have nowhere to go. I've got 3 families in the shelter right now with kids under the age of 5 that I'm trying to get placed. The hardest thing is without housing, there is no jobs. And in this area, just because I help veterans, I talk to everybody. They need opportunities. Not cameras and fences and bars. They need to create jobs.
The problem with your federal grants is, the federal grant will come in and it'll say, you need to put it around which all the cameras are, okay, with 1 or 2 exceptions. All of them are around city properties, the events, the arena, Citrus Bowl. It's not around for people that.
And I'm here to tell you that's not correct.
Yeah.
That is not correct.
I got a map to show. Can I speak, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm here representing the foundation, so I appreciate all the comments. I'm glad to hear them. That was the purpose of the night. And I just want you to know we will be aware of all of your concerns as we move forward, and we'll do the best that we can within our abilities to try to create a safe environment for these veterans. But beyond that, I mean, it's a political, it's you know, we're not a political.
I'd like to say one more thing. On behalf of Chief John Mina, who directed us to be here, his mission and our mission with the Orlando Police Department is reduction of crime and making safer living neighborhoods. And we're going to continue to do that. He's given us that charge. And again, if we come together, we can get this thing done as opposed to those trying to point the finger and whatnot. Now, if anybody has a question for me, I'll be here and Kevin will be here in the back of the room to try to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Beverly. Can I speak now?
Yes.
My name is Phil Carroll. I've been a member of the Board of Realtors since 1970. I've written you multiple letters through Franklin. Have you gotten any of my letters?
I have not gotten any.
Okay. Well,
but I am a volunteer.
Okay, well, I know you are, and I want you to understand, I asked this man to come here and video this. And the reason he's here videoing this is I wanted a record of what went on with it. Okay? And I want you to understand some things that are very important. The concerns you've heard about the crime are correct. Ann Brown just left. Okay, the lady was sitting right up. Where are you, Ann?
She's went around the corner.
She ran when I mentioned her name. My business is I own and manage about 100 residential properties in Paramore. I own the property that you're all thinking about building these houses. I lost it and had to short sell it because of the crime around here. I was told that I could only ask questions, I couldn't speak. Well, I understand, it's kind of interesting to me that the police department showed up ready to defend the position of the police department and had an opportunity to speak. Well, we were here actually to talk about 5 or 6 houses you intend to build for veterans, which, by the way, I think is a wonderful thing. I'd love to see you build those houses. But the questions that you need to ask yourself, and I brought these documents that I wanted to hand out to real estate people that are involved with this association so they know what they were doing. And I want to hand them to you when it's over so you can hand them to people that need to know these things. Here's a good question for you. Okay? How many people have been murdered within 3 blocks of where you plan to build these houses in the last 120 days?
I don't know the answer to that.
Find it out. Okay? Find out how many pedophiles live within a city block of where you plan to build those houses. Do you know that? No? Nobody told you that, did they? Okay, now this question about the cameras. With all due respect to the police department, I know both of these fellas. They're employees of the city. Okay, I've heard their speeches over and over and over again. I heard a lady talk about taking back the neighborhood by putting citizens here to take back the neighborhood first. I can tell you I've heard that 50 times in the last 20 years. One of the officers just talked about Arlington and Concord Street. Arlington and Concord Street, according to the city of Orlando, is the greatest thing that ever happened to the city of Orlando. I own property on Arlington and Concord Street. Okay? The problem comes and it goes, it comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. The police will go down there and they'll chase them off, and 3 months later they're back because they went down the street 3 blocks. Okay? The truth of the matter is, the reason that we're here talking about these cameras is because we have concluded that the only solution to the problem in Paramore is cameras. I have a letter here that I wrote in 1990 to the then chief of police, which is now our current sheriff. They said he was looking into it, and as soon as he had some empirical evidence, he was going to put them up. Now, you heard about Reverend Lindy Hamilton. Reverend Lindy Hamilton has been a preacher on Paramore Street and Anderson Street for 35 years. He went out and got 650 people in Paramore. If you'd like to see their signatures, I have them here. Okay, begging the city of Orlando to put crime cameras in these various spots, and he knows they're hot neighborhoods, hot properties. And guess where one of them is? If you'd like to see the map, okay, it's on the corner where you plan to build the houses. Okay, so Ann Brown was wrong.
Mr. Coward.
No, let me just finish.
Mr. Coward, I came here in good faith tonight.
Yes.
To explain this project.
Well, would you take this information?
Of Paramore.
Would you take this information and provide it to the people that are making
But I'm not going
decisions?
to stand here and be lectured. I'll be happy to receive your information. I'll go over it. I've already made my statement that as far as the foundation is concerned, we have been made very well aware of the concerns of the neighbors in Paramore.
So
we will do our best to our ability to address those concerns as we move forward.
Well,
and we thank you for bringing them forward.
And I appreciate that, and I'm so glad that this
But
man
I'm not
has
going
been.
to be lectured by you.
I'm not intending to lecture you, ma'am. I'm just trying to give you the information you need
If
to
you
make
would
a wise
like to hand
decision.
it to me or meet with me privately,
I'll be glad to do that.
I would be more than willing to do that.
Thank you.
Just a comment. I think you heard me loud and clear about the security concerns. As I stated, we want to make sure that this is a safe environment. I think bringing out your concerns and making sure that we know about them is the first step. So we've heard you. I know that when we meet as a trustee board, this will be a topic of discussion. And I'm sure that each and every one of us will reach out and make sure that this is not a lost topic of discussion. And especially around these veterans' homes and the project that we are. Can we cure all the cameras in Paramore? Not us. So we can sure make sure that we make sure it's a part of the solution. I appreciate the Deputy Chief for being here. I appreciate you for being here.
And we thank you for your comments. I
but
sincerely am thankful for listening to every comment tonight.
But as Kyle said, we're here in this community and we're not moving. And the key thing is, if you are an investor in this community, then let's be a part of making an investment in this community. If you are a landowner in this community, be a landowner, stand with us. Mr. Coward, I've seen you at many events. I ask you to continue to come out. Thank you for sharing your opinion and your information. We'll take it, we'll process it, and we'll move forward. On behalf of our chairman, I know that the consensus of the rest of the body of the trustee board, we heard you loud and clear.
Yes, thank you so much. That said, if anybody has any other question concerning the project beyond the safety issue that has been made very well and very clear tonight, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Take good care of our vets.
That's our full intention, sir.
But you know, if you're dead and are not, if you're on camera, it doesn't make all that much difference. It's not the end solution.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for your comments. They will be sincerely considered.
Did everybody sign to keep their points around? One of the things that everybody's name?
Second Marine Division. Thank you.
Guess this is it. I guess this is all she wrote.